All right, today we're going to try and seal up some of these cracks just as a test. I'm going to do a couple different sections. I'm going to do the super glue with baking soda test to try and fill some of those gaps and strengthen it up. I don't need this piece. This is a piece of scrap, but I do have a couple of pieces that I'm working on that have knots or cracks in it that I do want to try and save for the project I'm working on. So I'm going to do a couple of those tests to see, one, does it work? Two, I want to mix some fine sawdust with it to try and fill the gaps and color match it to see if that works and see if it's feasible enough to repair all the damaged wood that I currently have. So let's get into it. Start off, we're going to do a simple test with just some baking soda and some super glue to see how that behaves. I want to try and do a thinner area and a thicker area. I'm using some super thin super glue. All right, so just a drop there and a drop there. And that is already hard. Thin and the thick. Make a real mound just to see how thick it can go. I want to see if that penetrated the full mound or if it's just absorbing. Nope. That is a full-on crystal of baking soda. That right there is hard. Now, I'll do the same thing, but with a little bit of sawdust involved with it. So we'll scoot all that over. Some sawdust I filtered out of my dust collector. Don't want to get too much in there, but enough to really get a good mixture, different change of color. Just settles to the top, so I can't do that. I can't do the shaking method. It's got to be thoroughly mixed in and kind of pushed up to a hill point. Let's try that super glue one more time. All right, there's that one. So bring this one back on again. I don't know if you can see the difference very much, but this one is the one with the sawdust. This one is the one with just baking soda. It's at least a different color. Question is it color matching for the gap enough? Or is the baking soda fine? I think the color matching the sawdust works better. Next we'll try to sand it. Now I'm just sanding the flat surface of the drop just to give me some exposed surface. It does seem to sand pretty well. Both the plain baking soda and the sawdust added. Let's see if it'll buff up with a nice 320. So there we are. I don't know if you can really see it very well, but that's the color matched one with sawdust, and that's the plain one. They do seem to sand up pretty well, and since you're not filling gaps too crazy, it seems like it would be a pretty good fill, getting all those nice gaps. So let's see if that'll work. I'm going to section off and dump all this sawdust. Oh, first. I need to take the back side just in case it does leak through. I don't want to stick this to anything. Okay. We'll do this whole gap, this little crack over here with just plain baking soda, but this crack over here we'll fill with the color match stuff. And it seems to cure pretty instantly, fairly quickly. So I don't know as if you'd want to touch the tip of your super glue to the baking soda as the super glue is coming out. But you want to be fairly precise with your application. All right, so that was the color match side. That's the baking soda only side. So we're going to start by sprinkling some. All right, let's sand this up and see what comes out. So I know this isn't the greatest light to show this, but that all appears to be no real different from the color match. In fact, the color match seems to have this little blotching area around where the extra super glue went that seemed to make it darker, and that continues all the way down to the end. So even though it seems to be slightly darker, maybe not, than the regular one, if you're trying to fill gaps, this is going to happen. It seems to be just right below the surface. There's a lot of sawdust on my table. I guess it doesn't really matter if you use sawdust in with it or not. It all depends on how big of a gap. See, because there you can see there's also a big gap that I had to try to fill. It turned out very similarly to that. I guess it might be just a little bit darker. But then again, you have all this blotchiness on either side of it. So, I don't know. I almost forgot to flip it over and check out the tape area, if it actually was a problem or not. Especially on this side that had the huge gap. Looks like it didn't penetrate all the way through. It got stopped, just like we did in the test. There's all this extra baking soda. It didn't go all the way through down over here. So I'd still cover the one side with tape just so if for some reason something happened, baking soda fell out the other side, then it wouldn't cause any problems with the other side trying to seal up. Now, that's all the baking soda that fell through the crack. So it's not sealing it up fully, but if you get it deep down in there, maybe do drops at a time. I don't know, it might be just as easy to use epoxy on something like that, but I don't know.